Hi, friends. My name is Edie Penn, and welcome to my new podcast, PostScript. This podcast is about the scripts we inherit, the social contracts we internalize, and unspoken rules we live by, sometimes consciously, sometimes without realizing it, and how those things shape what we believe, what we tolerate, and how we move through the arenas of our lives. I'm coming to this conversation as someone who's spent over 20 years in human resources. And while so much of what I've learned about these scripts and social constructs that we're slave to is through that work, I know for sure that it applies to you as a regular everyday person in your regular everyday life. I have seen how breaking down these constructs has freed people in many ways. What I've learned is that some of these quote unquote normal ideas that we repeat at work and in our relationships and at leadership conferences, parenting from mother to mother in life, are actually really harmful scripts in disguise. And once you see them, you can't unsee them. One of the most harmful things about some of these frameworks is that they're presented like truth, not a perspective, not this might work for you if truth. And the harm of that is it doesn't even acknowledge that the assumption that this works for everyone is sometimes the very problem. Because if it doesn't apply to you, if you do all the things and your life doesn't suddenly improve, you start thinking that the problem is you, not the framework, not the message, not the messenger, you. You start thinking that you're undisciplined. Maybe you're too broken or too sensitive. Maybe you're too resilient or not resilient enough. Too this or that, whatever, fill in the blank. When really, the framework was never built with you in mind. It was built for somebody with a different set of permissions, a different kind of body, a different relationship to relationships, to risk, to danger, to authority. And when you try to force those things onto your life, you end up worse than you were before. That's not self-help, friends. That's self-destruction. So the goal of this podcast and how I want you to engage with it is not take what I say as gospel. God, that's the opposite of what I want you to do. It's to practice discernment. I want you to listen and ask yourself, does this idea make me feel more free or more restrained? Does it expand my thinking or shrink my options? Does it help me feel more like myself, or does it make me feel like I need to become someone else to be good or good enough? I also want you to pay attention to the voice behind that message. Whose perspective is that? What assumptions are they making about your life, your body, your relationships, your resources, your safety, your access, or your reality? Does that make sense to you? To be clear, this isn't about me. It's why this podcast will be audio only. Don't get it twisted, though. I have a voice for radio and a face for TV. I just don't want you to become an Edie Penn fan. I mean, you can, because I'm fabulous. But the point is not worship. The point is practice. The point is that you get better at thinking for yourself so that you can take what's useful and leave the rest and build something that actually fits your life and community, and not just what sounds good, not just what's trending on the New York Times bestseller list or what's packaged well or the latest thing you saw on your IG feed. What's true, what's aligned, and what's for you. Enjoy the episode. Hi, friends. I'm so excited to welcome you to the very first episode of PostScript. Happy Valentine's Day. It's not an accident, by the way, that today's episode is on Valentine's Day, because nobody hates Valentine's Day more than I do. And part of why I hate it so much fits perfectly into what this whole podcast is about. So first, let's revisit how I want you to interact with this content and what my job here is. I am not advocating for positions. This is not about who or what is right or who or what is wrong or good or bad. This is about you critically thinking through information that is being fed to you and checking in with your body. Because whether you know it or not, your body is very wise and knows things before you do. So when you hear a thing, does your body feel the truth of it? Does it feel true to you and for you, or for the life you've chosen and the path that you're walking? Because if it doesn't, you're well within your rights to just reject the whole thing. And that is the muscle we're working out. That is the thing that I want you to do at the end of every episode. I want you to think to yourself, does this give me more joy? Does this give me more freedom in my body, in my thoughts? Can I dream more or bigger? Does this unlock my imagination? Does this thought or way of thinking allow pleasure to be more or less accessible to me? Those are the kinds of questions I want you to ask yourself. And when the thing doesn't, or you feel a lot of resistance, what I want you to ask yourself next is, whose voice is that? Is that the voice that's giving me freedom and joy in my body? Or is that, I don't know, the voice of my third grade teacher, or your mom, or your grandfather, or your ex? Is that voice telling you that you should be doing something that doesn't even feel good to you? So let's talk about it. Let's dig into why I hate Valentine's Day. Well, first of all, I think it's become more and more common that people kind of reject having this one day of the year to tangibly show your love to someone. Because honestly, I don't know that Valentine's Day is much more than that. And I could be wrong. I'm happy to be wrong. I'm happy to hear I'm wrong about that. But the script here that we're employing is really about romance. It's not that I don't like romance, guys, but the way that we define it, I don't like romance. That probably sounds like a crazy thing to say, but I don't like it. And I don't like it as we define it and as we practice it, because romance presumes some things. And the first and probably the reason I don't like it is it assumes an audience. Let's take Valentine's Day, for example. Right now, there are people sitting at work or at home, wondering when their flowers are going to get delivered, wondering when their chocolate's going to come, wondering if a reservation has been made for dinner. And the question is, who is that for? Is that for you as the person in a relationship? Are those things that you want? Have you been clear about those expectations? A whole nother thing we can talk about another day. Or is it proof to people who are not you that your partner loves you? Because why do you care what they think? Why do you care about whether or not other people understand your relationship, or how much and whether the person that you've chosen to spend your time with, whether that's a lifetime or a weekend or a night, whatever it is, why does it matter to you that other people can see how much you are loved? That's weird to me. Why is an audience important? The second part I will share by way of a really old Reddit story that I'm probably not even getting all the facts right. But the long and short of the story was that some guy had written in to talk about how weird he thought it was that his wife or girlfriend or whatever she was continued to get Valentine's Day gifts from her dad. Apparently, her dad had been giving her gifts every year since she was a kid, and he thought it was inappropriate that a father would give his daughter a gift for Valentine's Day. Meanwhile, I'm just scratching my head like, why is that weird? What are we saying Valentine's Day is? Is it not a day to show people that you love him? Or is it only safe for people who are in sexual relationship? Is Valentine's Day only for lovers like Virginia? Like, I don't know. Is that what we're saying? Because if it is, I think that's weird. I think if we're going to have a day to celebrate that we love other people and how we want to show love for other people, then everybody should be allowed to equally celebrate that day without any of it being weird or inappropriate. Because if that's not the case, then we have to go back and question what the purpose of the day is. If it's only for lovers, if it's only for this idea of romantic love, have we interrogated that why? Listen, I know some of you thinking, what is she going on about? It's clearly just another capitalistic consumerism commercial holiday. And that's a fair point. But some people live for this day. They put real pressure on themselves or their partners to show up. And here's the thing. If it truly means something to you, and you need this outward expression of love, or even if you need the audience, I'm not mad at that, as long as you've interrogated your why. Is it just because that's what everybody else does? Or is it because that's all you were ever taught? So let's interrogate this a little bit together. I've crafted a few questions I think you might have and provided my own answers. But remember, again, this is not about agreeing with me. This is about pausing and interrogating for yourself what Valentine's Day means to you. So question 1. If I actually like Valentine's Day, are you saying there's something wrong with me or my relationship? Listen, if you love it, I love it for you. What's the saying? If you like it, I love it, right? If you love Valentine's Day, I'm genuinely happy for you. I'm not here to take joy away from people. I'm here to make sure your joy is yours. And as I said earlier, the point is to interrogate how it makes you feel. Does celebrating it give you more joy, more freedom in your body or in your thoughts? Can you dream more or bigger? Does it unlock your imagination? Does this celebration allow pleasure to be more accessible to you? And listen, if any of those things are true, then celebrate away, my friend. But if you feel constrained, if you feel tightness in your chest, or you have so much anxiety about what your partner will or won't do for you on that day, I just want you to take a small pause and ask why that is and whose voice is that. Next question. What's the difference between love that's real and love that's performative? First of all, I think that's up to you. But generally, I think it's about orientation. Where is the focus? Is it mainly on proving to a real or imagined audience that it's real? Or is it about what you and your partner or partners have agreed on or expressed to or for each other? Next question. Why do you think romance requires an audience? And what if I genuinely enjoy the public display parts? Romance, as we've defined it, often depends on recognition. It depends on being legible as a couple to people outside of yourselves. It depends on external validation. I think there's probably a type of romance that doesn't have to be that you and your partner may experience, but I maintain that that is not the type of romance on which Valentine's Day is built. Next question. If Valentine's Day isn't about romantic love, then what should it be about? Well, I feel a type of way about the word should, but here we go. If Valentine's Day is about showing someone that you love them, then it should be for every possible iteration of that love. For your family, your partner, your community, your dog. If you love it, it can be celebrated. But maybe don't give lingerie to your UPS driver. I mean, unless you're about that life. Next question. Are you basically saying Valentine's Day is a capitalist scam? I mean, yeah, sort of. I'm not by any stretch of the imagination the first. But like so many other things, I think we can and should reclaim these commercialized and normalized ways of celebrating and focus on the people, the community, and the humans with whom we interact every day. So friends, that's all the news that's fit to print for this episode, my very first episode of PostScripts. Thank you so much for listening and for joining me here. I'm so excited for you all to be on this journey with me. And another episode will be dropping next month. Be on the lookout for it. I love you. Have a great day.